Hi, folks. This is Jabbar Thomas, reaching out to you via not video chat because we're not live, but it's video. And I want to welcome you all to DMPT 2640 Color Correction. This is a course I have a lot of enthusiasm for. I have a lot of enthusiasm for all my courses, as you guys know. Um, but I'm especially enthused about this course because of the fact that I do a lot of this type of work on set. Well, at least lately, do a lot of editing work too. But color correction is something that I do quite a bit of, and you'll find that the difference between a film that looks kind of blah and not professional and a film that looks like really Hollywood, like a film, a lot of it has to do with color correction. Okay, we're going to talk a lot more. We're going to talk a lot more about what color correction actually is. There's color correction and there's color grading. It's two different things. Color correction is basically making sure that you have a full range of grays or brightness levels in the image. So we have highlights in the image, like you see on the Pulp Fiction picture behind me. You see the reflection of the light overhead. I think so, right about there. Okay, that's the brightest part of the image, or the highlight. Okay. Also, we see a highlight over here on the Empire Strikes Back poster. And then you have shadows, which of course is the darkest part of the image. It could be just something that's deep, dark black, like the frame of the posters there. Okay. Those can be like the shadows, or it can be the shadow on a person, like the attached shadow underneath my neck. Whatever is the darkest black, that's what your shadow is. Okay. So basically, between that highlight and those shadows, there are ranges of brightness that are not quite as dark as the black, but not quite as bright as the white. And those different levels of brightness, we call those levels of gray. Okay, sometimes we call them gray levels, or grayscale levels, or simple. Sometimes we call them brightness levels. All right, getting a really rich image that has lots of color in it usually involves having a very wide dynamic range, or high dynamic range. So that means we got the blacks, the bright whites, the highlights, and then all the levels of gray in between. Okay. Many times when you shoot a film, it's shot in a way that so you don't see all those steps of gray between black and white. Part of what a colorist and a color grader, a person who does color grading does, or color correction does, is they restore all those levels of gray so that you can see them in the image. And as a result, it makes all the colors, the reds, the greens, the yellows, pop. Okay, because we have a wide range of grays mixed with those colors. We'll talk more about the theory of that later. But color grading is just basically making sure the image is acceptable and looks correct, and it is, as we say, legal, meaning that the restrictions that television stations and movie or cinemas put on films as far as levels of brightness and color, to make sure the image meets all of those restrictions. That's color correction. Okay, it's not really an artistic art, but it's very important. It's not really artistic. It's not really an artistic task, but very important. Color grading, on the other hand, is telling a story through the use of color. Okay, color works on us on a subliminal level many times. Okay, and basically the two major concepts is warm colors, orange and red, cool colors, bluish colors. Okay, those give you two different types of feels. Okay, and a person who does color grading actually works more on an artistic level, and not so much on, okay, is this image acceptable for broadcast or acceptable for screening? All of that is done, but in a different step that comes before. So that's the difference between the two. And we're going to talk more about that during the class. As we go through the textbook, you will see them talk about both sides of that coin, color grading and color correction. And so please make sure you buy the textbook. Now, about the textbook, according to the syllabus, the textbook is basically, it references DaVinci Resolve 15. Now, the reason why it references 15 instead of 16 is because of the fact that I know that is the version of the textbook that they have in the bookstore. If you're buying your book from a bookstore, which I don't recommend, and I'll tell you why in a second. However, there is a book called Color Correction with DaVinci Resolve 16 that's out. More than likely, that is the version of the software that you have downloaded on your computers. Okay. Um, and there's a book that goes with it. There's not a lot of difference between DaVinci Resolve 15 and DaVinci Resolve 16. However, you need to make sure that you're aware, if you're using the 16 book, that hey, this is different from the 15 book. So if Mr. Thomas references something from the 15 book, I need to make sure that it's the same thing I'm reading in the 16 book. I have them both, so I bounce back and forth all the time. But technically, the Color Correction with DaVinci Resolve 15 book by Daria Fasoon is the official book of the course. Okay. Once again, some people like to have the current version of the book that goes along with the software, which is perfectly fine. Just realize that you may have to kind of go back and forth a little bit. Now, I mentioned to you that I do not recommend that you purchase the book from the bookstore. I say that because the bookstore only has the print version of it, and that's being listed on Amazon.com at $49.99. That's high, okay? The Kindle version of the book, which you can read on any smartphone, any tablet, any laptop or desktop computer, PC or Mac, as long as you have the free Kindle app, okay, it's $4.99. Okay, last time I checked, it's between $5 and $6. You can't beat that with the bat, and it's a lot more convenient. However, I do understand some of you are getting your funds from a lender that requires that you buy from the bookstore, so you may have to buy the version at the bookstore. Okay, that's why I have to make the official version of the text the Color Correction with DaVinci Resolve 15, because I don't know which book you have, but whether you're going to buy it from the bookstore or buy it on your own. But I have to go with what the bookstore stocks as the official one. But if I see a difference between the two, I will bring that to your attention. The software is absolutely free. Okay, that's one great thing about this course in using DaVinci Resolve. If you go to blackmagic.com and if you check your syllabus, you'll see the entire link for where you can download the software. Okay, you can download it for Mac or for PC. It's called DaVinci Resolve. It's long been an industry cutting edge piece of color correction software, but in the last several years they've expanded, so they don't just do color correction with it. You can also edit just like in Premiere. You can do digital compositing just like After Effects. You can even do audio work just like you would do in Pro Tools or Adobe Audition. Okay, the only part we're going to be talking about, I want to make this clear, the only part we're going to be talking about in DMPT 2640 is the color correction side. Okay, so that's all we're going to be dealing with in 2640 is the color correction side of DaVinci Resolve. Okay, but please make sure you acquire the book either from the bookstore or online. Please make sure you read the syllabus. Please make sure you download the software. Once again, details on downloading the software are in the syllabus, so make sure you take care of that. I don't think I mentioned this yet. Your ethics assignment and no-show quiz, or is it no-show assignment and ethics quiz, something like that? Please make sure you take care of that as soon as possible, okay? Because of the fact that if you don't take your ethics and no-show assignment and quiz by May the 31st, the school considers you as not attending class, and they will kick you out of the class, send the money that you used to pay for the class back to wherever you got it from, okay? So please, please, please make sure you take that no-show quiz and ethics assignment as soon as possible. As a matter of fact, you can even, after this video, go ahead and take it then. Do it things in this order. After this video, take your quizzes, read your syllabus, download your software, download DaVinci Resolve, download the book if you don't already have it. Get started on, I'm going to start on the introduction with the PowerPoint, and then we're going to go on to chapter 1 in the textbook. We're going to work through the textbook chapter by chapter. This is only a 10-week semester, so we're not going to complete the book, but I hope to at least get through chapter 7. We have a midterm exam in week 5 and a final exam in week 10. Please make sure that you're taking the weekly quizzes that I'll be giving to you as we work through the chapters. You guys know the drill. You've taken me before. Please make sure you don't fall behind on your reading. Please make sure you don't fall behind on your quizzes or assignments or anything like that. I'll give you occasional PowerPoints, but don't rely on the PowerPoints as far as expecting PowerPoints instead of reading. Okay? That won't always happen. But we all have the book. Make sure at the very least you read the book and read the PowerPoints when they are available, when they are there. Okay, when I have made a PowerPoint, because I don't make a PowerPoint for every semester, every chapter necessarily. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to me at thomasj@gptc.edu. You know my email. You've all used it, I'm sure. And that's about all I can think of. If you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to me via email. Also, one last thing, as you guys, you know that, but they make me say it. As you know, all courses this semester are going to be taught online and not on campus. So between now and the end of the summer semester on July 29th, we will not be meeting on campus. Do not go to school. They earlier they said, well, you know, hey, if things change and we can't safely come to school, they would call us in, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. As a matter of fact, I can guarantee you that's not going to happen. So just please make sure that you're always checking your email and your announcements on Blackboard for material from me as we teach this class online. Please make sure you get an early jump on your work, y'all, because of the fact that we no longer do late quizzes, late exams, retakes, requizzes. We don't do any of that. Got one shot to do it. Please make sure you get it done. That's about all I have. It's been almost 12 minutes. Please reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns. Please take care of yourselves, y'all, and I will look forward to working with you guys in the semester. Bye-bye.